Shalom, call halal, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat Shem Dash, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, even the elders that came before them and taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother elder Yashawan. Shalom and salutations to you all. This is the World War III Daily Update. And I'm going to let Mahmoud talk for about 10 minutes. But first, I'm going to get Revelation 2 and I think it's 9. Yep. Because Mahmoud, we're going to determine whether my boy Mahmoud is a Jake or not. Revelation 2 and 9. I know that works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Maybe we'll read 10 later, but right now, let's watch Mahmoud, and let's determine if Mahmoud OD here, right, is Ishmael or if he's a Jake. Pretty smooth dude. Seems to know the truth. Listen to how clandestinely he keeps saying it over and over. Okay, so this is like an hour ago. We'll listen to right up about 10 minutes because he just kept riffing. I'm like, okay, right there. I got to stop it right there. So take it away. Listen close because he's on top of everything. Letting you know that he sees what we see. He's directly over the target. Take it.
The Israeli media and the Israeli officials are very concerned about what they call the uprising happening in Iran. As a matter of fact, they've been posting all across social media and other platforms as well, official platforms, all eyes on Iran, with the flag of the Shah flag, not the current flag of Iran, preparing the ground for what they hope to be a revolution against the Iranian establishment. You'd think that, well, okay, they're concerned about what the people want.
Real quick. So this is the story from the other perspective. What we're hearing on Western media, Iran is over there killing each other, right? The people rose up and da-da-da-da. Okay, well, let's hear the other side.
Very much. At the same time, committing a genocide against the native.
That needs to be heard again. They said this is Israel, coming to the rescue of Iranians after you fired on them, right? And then you come, hey, we're not conducting a genocide while we're coming to your rescue at the same time. Getting Babylon to attack you. Here we go.
The Shah flag, not the current flag of Iran, preparing the ground for what they hope to be a revolution against the Iranian establishment. You'd think that, well, okay, they're concerned about what the people want. Very much. At the same time, committing a genocide against the natives of Palestine. But listen, maybe they care more about the Iranian people. And it wasn't just the serving political echelon, it was none other than the previous prime minister, albeit for a very short period, Naftali Bennett. Let's have a look at what he had to say.
The Iranian people have a glorious past.
Of course they do, unlike your past. A past that you don't have. Imposter. Pretending to be something that you're not. Coming from different countries all across the world, pretending to be natives of a place that you don't have any connection with whatsoever.
And they can have an even more glorious future. That future depends on each and every one of you. So to all the brave men and women now rising up across your country, all the nations of the free world stand with you in your just struggle.
Of course.
Change is possible. There will be a better Middle East.
Mahmoud.
There will be a better Middle East. How? With Israel supporting you. That's how. Now, mind you, of course, apart from the fact that he did say, I mean, they do have a glorious history, Iran, again, unlike his history and his people's history, made on pseudo stories and fake identities. What's the purpose behind this? Well, it's an Israeli project now. Israel as a country, not just the political leadership, they want to get rid of the establishment in Iran. Why? Because they failed previously. And Israel succeeded before, they wouldn't have said anything. And they're going to so many lengths, by the way, including publishing fake information, fake videos online about some of the protests that are happening in Iran. Although, of course, there are more protests in support of the establishment rather than opposing, but this was one of them. Look at that. Israel in Persian. The people of Iran do not fear the delusional and faded regime. And you can see the real video and the fake image that they're, like spraying the people in front of them. All right. Where is this coming from? Well, Israel has units focusing on Iran and Persian as well. This is how they learn Persian.
These teenagers may be Israel's future operatives in an espionage battle against Iran.
Hold on a second, what? Future espionage battle against Iran? I thought they were learning Persian to learn about the ancient history of Iran and Persia and the glorious history of Iran. Wasn't that why they were learning Persian?
They learn about Iranian history and culture and sing in the Persian language. I'm Reuters' Rinat Harash at Ben Gurion High School in the Israeli city of Petah Tikva. These high schoolers behind me may be Israel's future operatives in an escalating shadow war with Iran.
Okay.
They are enrolled in...
I want her to say that one more time because they say, well, what has this got to do with World War III? What word did she use?
Escalating shadow war.
Shadow what? War.
Operatives in an escalating shadow war.
So they're learning how to be soldiers to fight this war, which is World War III.
Petah Tikva. These high schoolers behind me may be Israel's future operatives in an escalating shadow war with Iran. They are enrolled in a unique...
You understand? Because at one point in time, they all become part of the IDF.
University-level program titled Iran, Security and Intelligence. They're currently studying for their final exams, focusing on Farsi grammar, translations, and contemporary Iranian affairs. When drafted for their mandatory military service at age 18, they will be natural candidates for key positions in Israel's intelligence services.
In Israel's intelligence service, of course. I mean, they're not learning about the history because of Iran's glorious past. They're learning Persian to become security operatives to spread misinformation and propaganda online, pretend to be Iranian.
Misinformation and propaganda. And pretend to be who? Whoever they're pretending to be at the time. I'm Polish right now. I'm going back to Poland. Got dual citizenship.
In Israel's intelligence services.
In Israel's intelligence service, of course. I mean, they're not learning about the history because of Iran's glorious past. They're learning Persian to become security operatives to spread misinformation and propaganda online, pretend to be Iranian people, posting in the Iranian language. Of course, this is several years back. Now they have more things automated.
It's a war.
We know exactly why.
We know exactly why. We'll get to that on the way out.
In Persia, so that they can participate in these protests, right? These protests that are happening in Iran, although really and truly, the people of Iran are very, very aware. This was an event here, one of the protests a man was masked, and he was pretending to be like a business owner and talking about taking overthrow of the establishment, what have you. Up until other protesters started asking him, well, what is your business? Well, which business are you? And he didn't respond. They found out that he was a traitor, basically, planted there, pretending to be part of them,
About to die.
only for them to realize that by the statements that he's making, like, because there's legitimate protest, which is, by the way, allowed in Iran. Legitimate protests are allowed in Iran, and people are allowed to protest freely. In many cases, by the way, in a more peaceful manner than Western.
What he was an agent provocateur. He's there to get it popping, if you will. And they sniffed him out and got him up out of there.
Countries who ban protesting and use harsh, severe measures against protesters, including beating them, imprisoning them, just for voicing their opinion. We saw that very clearly in the past several years with people protesting for the Palestinian people facing a genocide. And because they oppose a genocide, they get beaten by the police and imprisoned by the police, and they go on hunger strikes and get ignored. And the government doesn't really care. As a matter of fact, they do their best to try and put them off. But that's Iran for you. And the people of Iran are aware. They are aware that there's a campaign. Therefore, the people themselves know who is doing what as well. And there were protests as well, simultaneously with some protests for certain conditions that Iran is facing, whether financially or to do with the water shortage, protesting for the establishment, for the country as a whole. People were protesting all across, and they were commemorating the martyrdom of previous leaders in the IRGC, showing support for their country. And as usual, we see Palestinian flags as well and Palestinian support too. So where are things going? Well, I can understand very clearly that Israel now and the United States as well, administration, they are relying on internal instability to come simultaneously with the attack that they're preparing.
Ooh, that's very important what to say. So what's going on now? So he goes straight into what this propaganda is all about. They're preparing an attack. He knows. Let's get that real quick. I was trying to hold back 2 Corinthians 2:11. Let's say it should get an advantage. For we are not ignorant of his devices. That might make Mahmoud one of us. Might. Go, Mahmoud.
On internal instability to come simultaneously with the attack that they're preparing against Iran, at least Israel on its own initially, unless the United States participates from the beginning this time, so that they can cause further destabilization or be viewed as the saviors. However, there are multiple problems with that. Number one, the protesters in Iran who have legitimate concerns about certain things they might not be happy with the government, which is perfectly normal. And again, they have the right to protest. They are aware. It's not like they're people who are run by misinformation, but some of them might be. But in general, you're talking about people who are aware, level-headed too, and they know that there are malicious plans to take down the country as a whole, as in, not for the sake of the Iranian people, but for the sake of imperial interests led by Israel, the barking dog of the United States administration in the region, and that wouldn't be in the favor of the Iranian people. They know that very well. That's the first thing. Secondly, there's a very big problem here in Israel and the United States relying on internal destabilization. Look at what happened during the 12-day war. The people who were not supportive of the establishment were supportive of the establishment in defending Iran. As a matter of fact, they were going against any voices calling to take down the establishment because they were viewed as treacherous people, traitors for their own country, because it was facing an aggression coming from a country that is committing a genocide against the Palestinian people. So the logic is very simple. How are these people going to come and save us now when they are killing people in their own backyard? It only takes a pair of eyes and a semi-functioning brain to realize. All right, so that's on.
I'm going to end it right there. Go back and watch Mahmoud. He was cooking. I let him cook. All right, that's the other side of that region, we'll call it. All right. And that region being the Middle East, the Middle Eastern theater. That's the region that I'm referring to, because he hit right on the head of, everything we see going on, right? So, and he explained it in a knowing way, which is why I got this, and I might have got it a little early. This dude knew the skinny and broke it down. Used the 10 minutes. Go back and watch it. He broke it all the way down. What's going on and why. Okay. Now, what's the counter to what he said also? Well, look, Iran is not playing. Right? First of all, they're being backed by Russia and China. So said the Holy Scriptures. All right. We're dealing with prophecy over here. So anyway, with that, I just thought that he had something good to say. So that's the update. The update is when he said the part about the attack that's coming. Okay, that's the update.
Who is doing what as well. And there were protests as well, simultaneously with some protests for certain conditions that Iran is facing, whether financial, harsh, severe measures against protesters, including beating them, imprisoning. The protesters started asking him, well, what is your business? Which business? So that they can participate in these protests, right? These protests that are happening in Iran, although really and truly, the people of Iran are very, very aware. This
very, very aware. Here comes that propaganda. Here comes regime change. Here comes, here's a pallet of bricks out of nowhere.
Was an event here, one of the protests, a man was masked and he was pretending to be like a business owner and talking about taking an overthrow of the establishment, what happened.
Agent provocateur. Anyway, I'm going to cut it right there. They know what's going on. They're not ignorant of what this man is up to. All right. Man stand up in the street. What was that, Maduro over there? Juan Guaido stood up at a soccer game and said, I'm the president. Somebody was filming it. And 5 people agreed. Yeah, we agree. Oh, he's now the president. Shalom to the elect.